I think we can safely move along into feature creeping.
Yeah, let's do this.
It is a very hard one, not just to start, but to say anything, because with the integration, in theory, anything you can think of, you can build it. So if you want the ChatGPT support, you can build it in, and Slack is going to integrate it if it's going to be successful. So it's very hard to think of a different feature to add.
I thought exactly that. Any feature creep we do here probably already exists as an app. It's not going to be like an innovative feature creep, or it can be done easily as an external app. So we wouldn't be feature creeping for Slack engineers here to listen to this podcast and go on and build something. So I don't know, but maybe we can try.
Yeah. So for the Huddle feature or for any other meeting feature, I would love a first party integration with a Summariser tool, or maybe on the fly. The Huddle is on, these persons are in, and maybe it understands from what you're doing and what your screen saying are in and what you're saying, and can derive a summary. So you can see Huddle is on, Johnny is in, and he's doing coding, or he's tackling the Jira issue, or he's doing something else, without me having to update the Huddle is about this, without knowing that this Huddle is in the pair programming channel, so it's going to be a pair programming Huddle. Something that automatically summarizes what I'm doing in the moment, what's happening in the Huddle. And then that gives you more information on whether you want to join in on the Huddle.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that would have to be something that people allow you to summarize this, because it could be a hurdle. You're talking about your boss or something.
Like Mario's proposal by Johnny, a romantic moment between two colleagues.
Exactly. But yeah, I like it.
So I guess just the screens that you're sharing, like if you're doing a screen share, it could say they are in this program. Discord has this, so your status can be playing Baldur's Gate or doing this or recording in Final Cut Pro. It can integrate with stuff you're doing in your desktop or your game console and say that you're doing this. So maybe something like that for Slack, that, oh, he's on the terminal or he's pair programming. Although this has the creepiness factor of, do we really want to see if Johnny is making coffee or if he's on the terminal, or why is he on the terminal for so long? We know that he does everything with VS Code and mostly he just presses tab and not completes everything. So why is he not there? Why is he not pressing tab enough?
That's very intriguing. That's intriguing enough for people to join. It's like, what the hell is Johnny doing in the terminal? Let's join the Huddle.
And then you see it's like the Matrix scene where you just see green symbols all around you. You don't understand what's happening.
While he drinks his coffee.
So on the Summariser train, I would also say sometimes you haven't been in a channel for a long time and you see there's like 500 messages that have gone. And you can click and go to the top, the first 100 messages that you've missed, and then go through the timeline. But sometimes you don't want to do that. So maybe Slack can do a summary of 500 messages, mostly about this, or on those three things, bam. And you can see if you can ignore it and move along with your life and see the rest of the messages, or dive into the ones that seemed more important to you.
Yeah, that could be one as well.
All right, I'll put you on the spot. Do you want to give a try? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to search here in the app directory and say, oh, that's already a bot or anything like that. But try to say something that could be a first-class Slack feature.
Yeah, I thought of a couple, I think. But it's hard to say. It's just fun and probably not going to happen. I like those feature creeps that probably shouldn't happen that way. But I call it Lovability Report. You know how we talked about reactions and how people like count their reaction, like how much love they received from it, and how many likes and how many bunnies they received on it. And in a sense where you get a report on the things you posted more publicly, in a way that compared to each other, to the things that you posted, not comparing to others, how they performed in reactions, because it can give you some insights on like the time of the day that you should send a message to get the impact that you want, and the wording that you had in different messages. So you get the impact and the lovable impacts that you wanted from your message. It's like a user research
engagement
analytics ticks for your own messages. If you care about that, maybe that's something that would be useful.
Would it tell me like specific people, like the CEO did read this message, because maybe you care more about this than more people in the company. You want the key stakeholders in the company to read your messages and love them than is necessarily to have everyone in the company read your messages and love them.
Yeah. And also it's a great feature create toxic relationships. Like, oh, Johnny never liked your message, but he liked Michael's message. Here's a report.
Sadly, it was the one that was saying, I'm resigning and next week I'm going to be out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I do like that. I keep coming back into the summary solution. Like if it could tell me the actions I could take, like you posted these messages and this percentage of them were positive, negative. These are a sample of your more positive ones, but let's do something different. It could analyze your language and have you use more inclusive language, for example. There is some controversy that I heard about recently about hey guys. Of a lot of people say hey guys is very masculine and you should say hey y'all or something like that. Other people say we just don't have in English that type of plural you. So hey guys has won and just use that. But in any case, whether that's valid advice or not, I would like for Slack to give me some valid advice on how I can improve my speech to be more inclusive, more grammatically correct, even like fewer spelling errors, some things that are like filler words, like, which I just used just now. It could tell me something to improve how I write and how I message.
Yeah, that's very good. I think the inclusivity part could be very powerful. Show you alternatives, showing like this message you may be unconsciously writing and you're not being inclusive enough with saying, hey guys, and it shows you alternatives like, oh, maybe you could use hey people here or hey team.
Yeah,
Like
Clippy,
examples like that.
like Clippy popping up as an assistant telling you, you may be mansplaining here. You may want to chill a little bit. You may want to rephrase this a bit more.
Yeah. Microsoft biggest feature creep.
I guess that would be easy for Microsoft Teams to add and maybe less easy for Slack to add.
You think it'd be easier to Microsoft Teams to integrate Clippy
Yeah,
code?
because it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be like a very good written code to integrate with nowadays architecture. That must be hell.
At the same time, I do think that the same code, you could have a company say, this is your AI assistant and get $1 million valuation at least. The same exact code. All it does is understand whether you're trying to write a letter because it looks, if you're starting with greetings to everyone or hello or something like that. And then it says, oh, would you like help formatting the letter? So very fundamental, very rudimentary algorithms that say, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I pretend that I know what they're doing and give them suggestions. I think the same code you can use today and you can say, oh, it's using AI and it's an AI assistant and be dramatically more well received. While at the time, of course, it was a bit laughed at.
Yeah. Going a bit on a tangent, but not so much. Imagine if Clippy is the first artificial general intelligence that we create. Actually, Microsoft decides that they had it, but the way that they want to release is through Clippy.
Yeah.
That would be just such a story.
It's funny because there is a clicker game, like a paperclip simulator or something like that, where you're supposed to keep making paper clips and selling them. And just an idle game. Every so often you collect your paper clips, you sell them, you make more, but you keep automating the process. You keep making other machines to make your paper clips so you can sell more, stock management solutions. You keep adding, but it has a twist eventually because the AI kind of takes over the world. Spoiler alert. But yeah, there is definitely a lot of extra literature and science fiction regarding paperclip themed apocalypse scenarios, like the one you're suggesting now with Clippy becoming omnipresent and powerful with AI.
That's fun. I didn't know that, but yeah.
All right. Do you have any other punts, any other attempts for feature creep in Slack and Discord and all of that?
Yeah, I have the classic Slack, but like TikTok
Ooh.
that we have in some episodes. It's an algorithm word right now. People want to see based on the things they previously liked or read or seen, watched, any of that. So people want to see content based on content they've previously seen or interests they have. So TikTok delivered that algorithmic word quite well to people. And why not having a part of Slack, like the read later part that I said is a great feature of Slack, that you can save messages for you to analyze and read later and reply later, but also a part where it shows you potential messages that will be missing out, but they are made for you.
Yeah, I
Just
get
see.
it. So based on how you reacted or how many times you've replied or how long you've been focusing on a message, then it will tell you this similar message you may be interested as well. It's in a channel that you're not in, but maybe you want to read it, or it's something that you dismissed or you've muted or whatever, but you want to see it anyway. Yeah, I like that.
I think that's something that Slack can build better than apps, external apps. And potentially, if engineers of Slack are listening to this, is your way.
Slack does give you recommendations of maybe you want to enter this channel every so often, or maybe you want to leave this channel because you never engage. So it doesn't seem like that big of a leap from suggesting you may want this channel or you may not want this channel anymore to be able to pull specific messages and say, oh, you may want to read this message now.
The official Slack bot, the one that you can dump messages and normally use to like try and create, it does send you messages from time to say, oh, maybe you want to join this channel or leave this channel. So there's already something there that tries to clean up things for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it'll be
That's
helpful.
what I meant. They put it inside the personality of the Slack bot to tell you
Yeah.
you may want this channel
Mm.
or not. But the effect is the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Speaking of drafts, I really wanted to say earlier when you said about the mark as a to-do functionality, I thought that you were going to say about how you can go into the input of any message. So I go to my DM to you, my DM to someone else, public message to a channel, and I can actually type out what I want to say, but I can leave it on and then it remembers what I've drafted there and it will show me that I have a draft like that. And very often I would keep that on and only send it at an appropriate time or a time I thought is appropriate, or revisit it later in the day, finish it and actually send it then. And I think since then they've managed to elaborate on their draft support, as you said. So that's not really necessary, but I really like doing it like that anymore. I guess it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
But you can also schedule messages. So that would be a new trick for you.
Yeah, it's the one that I've tried to do, but I've failed. That's the thing. I really like pressing the button. The feeling of pressing the button is better for me than having the message ready and telling Slackbot, schedule it for 9 a.m. Have it. I think I've used it a couple of times, but not enough. I need to retrain myself for sure.
You can just build a button for you to press, Johnny, and just keep pressing it.
That's an
what
awesome
you like.
integration that I'm sure has happened, like physical send message button. It's nice and red,
Yeah.
and you hit it.
Yeah. Feature creeping into the physical world is also something we should be thinking.
Yeah, I'm sure that has happened in quite a few companies. Something that you can press a button, you trigger the deployment, or you promote from stage into production, and that also sends a Slack message saying that we're going to release, or maybe even a countdown in Slack that says we're going to promote to production in 5, 4, 3. Like press here to cancel it if it soon be done.
I have one more feature creep, like it's the Black Mirror stuff, right?
Oh,
I always get
unticked.
to the end.
We've missed that for the bingo. Please go.
Yeah, exactly. That's AR as well that I missed for the bingo, but I couldn't think of any AR feature. But yeah, the Black Mirror stuff is another one that's definitely not going to happen. But let's say you're in your team channel and you're about to make a decision and you're in a async communication in Slack through messages saying like, I know, let's release this button this way. And everyone's agreeing, yeah, definitely release. I'm just going to press the button now, deploy to production. And then Slack is reading that. Some AI is reading that and then stops you. No, if you do that now, that's going to break some other people's systems that's currently deploying or something. Just intercept company's mistake. Just read through all the communication and avoid mistakes and miscommunication. So maybe someone understood something wrong from another channel and then is talking in a third channel about that topic. And then you just intercept that. It's like, oh no, that actually you misunderstood because what they actually said was that. So, and just avoid mistakes all over it.
I love the idea. Easy to sell. Like eliminate crossed wires with Slack interceptor, Slack context analyzer. I love it. I'm sure it's almost impossible to build nowadays because AI systems already have a hard time understanding context. And if even humans can get their wires crossed, it feels like it can be hard for a system like that to understand what's happening. And it would need to know every conversation that has happened because sometimes it will be, I ran into Joao on the way to the coffee shop. And that actually they sense their thing and it's not going to cause any problem. or that's what we actually want to release. And Slack won't know that because it happened off the air, or maybe it happened in a Google Meet if you're working remotely. So if you have everything in Slack, it would already be hard to do, but possible. But people don't have everything in Slack. They use other tools to communicate. So maybe it was like an email or something in Figma, like you need to have the Figma integration in or something like that to be able to corroborate that this is the design that you want to put out and not that one that you're trying to push to production then. It's an amazing idea, like definitely would make them billions, but it is one of the hardest one to crack, I think, that we've said so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's more science fiction. So I would say it's possible that we get to that. And I think with some adjustments to, let's say you're talking about a given context of deployment to that specific app to production, and then you can create some data structure to access that context in your AI structure instead of having to hold all the context in just one AI bot, massive AI bot. You can have like different context bots. There are ways to optimize that, but I agree with all your points that it may be hard to nearly impossible to implement it.
Yeah,
But
the
it's not,
information capture
yeah,
is going to be tricky. But if we are in a Black Mirror episode, like you said, then it would be, oh yeah, I'm wearing this thing, or I have my phone and it captures everything anyway. So if you have all the information, for sure, you can make an AI interceptor that avoids cross
yeah.
wires. But in the real world, as far as we know, not everything is getting recorded in Slack.
But as so many things do in with AI features, they don't start as opinionated. They just start as a suggestion. So maybe something that could start as like, you may be making a mistake here. Are you sure? So something that just should help you with that. And that reminds me, this whole idea reminds me a bit of Minority Report movie with like these people predicting the future and trying to avoid crimes all over. But that is lots more fiction than what we've been talking about here.
We can make it a bit more fun as well and go the other way of the burnout. We can say that the Slack bot comes up and says, I see you haven't been taking any coffee breaks and you've been on Slack for like 6 hours straight. And that will lead you deploy into production bad code on Friday night. So please do take a break now. You must action this. Or we're giving you emergency leave to go home and chill because you're going to make a mistake in the future. So not as grim as Minority Report, where you get chilled up or killed, but a fun spin on the same thing. The AI predicts what you're going to do in the future and tries to make you a better engineer or colleague as a result.
Yeah, I think there's something in there, definitely, on the like future prediction with AI, avoiding mistakes. I feel like we're going to revisit that idea in future creeps episodes. Yeah, for sure.
So Slack, like everybody else, is trying to integrate more with such LLMs. And it feels like they will soon have an autocomplete where I go into the DMs and they show a suggestion of what I'm probably going to say. And at some point, it does become a Black Mirror episode because you're like, why am I even here? Why am I clicking the buttons? It knows that I'm going to say exactly that. And that was indeed what I was going to say. So let's have it send that message automatically. And then you have an existential crisis of just AI is talking to each other. And I'm not really needed anymore.
Yeah, the LLMs and conversational features of the current AI models are pretty useful on Slack. There are a lot of things that can be automated that way, but it will just change a bit the way people use Slack, I would say.
Yeah, you can see it as everyone having their own secretary, and then the secretaries are talking to each other and are taking that load off of us. But sometimes you want to talk to the real person for some reason, but maybe not. Maybe that's my human element trying to convince itself that it is necessary. And not really, like Slack communications, the AI will take them better for you. Your special sauce is doing the code or doing the presentations or doing something else. So just chill, let the AI handle everything else in the Slack world, and you can do your special sauce.
But the secretary is definitely something that's coming into apps. I've seen products trying to do that, which is basically that automated email that you go on holiday and someone sends you an email with an important question, but your AI secretary tries to answer the question and says you're on holiday. So you can leave a bunch of documents, paste a bunch of documents, or paste a bunch of context to this secretary, and then it will just answer the holiday emails with more useful things than just talk to Laura.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've talked to you about this because I did build it on like a train to Munster while I was working at Triplease. but I called it digital auto response tool. Maybe we worked at some point together as well, Dart. But pretty much it would create your persona, your avatar, your AI avatar. You'd fill in information of what Johnny knows and what Johnny replies with in some simple questions. And then it would answer for you. I think we elaborated on that idea at some point. So you'd have the version of you that is available while you're on vacation, while you're on the train, when you're otherwise unavailable.
I think we thought about that before, and we tried doing that with IBM Watson.
This is why
Just
ideas
didn't
should
have
be
enough
free.
traction.
Because very often,
Yeah.
like the ideas, you can have them anytime, and we happen to have ideas that become successes. But it's not that the idea itself is a guaranteed success. It's that people worked hard and made it a reality and started to market it and publish it. That makes it a success.
Oh, absolutely. The big difference between ideas and execution, as we know.
For sure. All right. So of the ideas, the feature creeps that we said today, what do you think would win? Like if we go to the Slack board and say, we want to implement this, I want to implement the Summariser, or let's say the Huddle preview. So in any Huddle, you can have an automated summary of what's happening in the Huddle right now, versus you can pick any idea that you spoke about earlier. Which one do you want?
Yeah, I think the Huddle one is quite of a small feature in a way, given the tools we have available at the moment. So that could be easily prioritized. But I also like, and I think I would slightly prefer to pitch that one, is the Algorithmic Slack, the way to show people things that they may be missing out based on the previous interactions, reactions, or things they read and written on Slack from other channels. I think that could be coming soon, if not already there.
Yeah, I think you win the day this time. So that's the expansion of you may like this channel and not like this channel anymore. You may actually like this message. You mentioned it, Slack, but TikTok algorithm, something like that was the headliner. You go to the board and you say Slack, but with a TikTok algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I think they would like that. They would buy it.
They'd love it. They go crazy. That starts like giving you the text.
Yeah. Like series, it goes series A, B, C, D, series alphabet.
Series Omega and beyond.